It is Wednesday, July 16th. This is The Signal. I'm Bernice Hillier in Corner Brook, filling in for Adam Walsh today. Today we are talking about cruise ships, and we are broadcasting live from the port in Corner Brook. The MS Volendam of the Holland America Cruise Line is here. Well, we've got cruise passengers and some of the ship's crew coming ashore. Some have already come ashore and gone on their excursions or walking through the city of Corner Brook today. Today on the show, we will meet the captain of the Volendam. We will also hear from the Corner Brook Port Corporation and the city of Corner Brook. And we will meet some of the other people who help to ensure that cruise visitors get a warm welcome and the information they need to help them get on their way to enjoying what this region has to offer. We'll also hear from a business owner about what cruise visits have come to mean to her business, not only on a day like today, but all year long. Before we get to our guests who are joining us live on the show today, let's hear from some cruise ship visitors who got off the very first tender boat that came ashore from the Volendam today. I spoke with some of them a couple of hours ago now, and I asked them where they're from and where they're headed today.
From around Chicago, Illinois. And we're headed to the national park.
We are from Savannah, Missouri, which is north of Kansas City, about 70 miles. And we are headed to the Gros Morne National Park.
Why did you want to go to the national park today?
We were married 53 years ago today, and we went to Yellowstone National Park as our honeymoon. So this seemed like a no-brainer.
This is wonderful. Happy anniversary to you both.
Thank you.
My name is Carol. I'm from the Shenandoah Valley in Virginia, and we are headed to Gros Morne Park.
And what are you looking forward to seeing there from what you know of it?
There's a place where you see the different layers of the land over time. That's what I want to see.
Wonderful. Do you have an interest in geology?
Not really, but it just sounds cool.
From Burnaby, BC, outside of Vancouver, and looking forward to being on the rock for the first time.
And those are some of the cruise ship passengers from the MS Volendam of the Holland America Cruise Line. I spoke with them just after 10 o'clock this morning, and they are likely enjoying the scenic beauty of Gros Morne National Park by now. Well, let's turn our attention to some guests we have right here at the cruise port. We're going to start with Patty Ricketts this afternoon. Patty Ricketts is Cruise Marketing Coordinator with the Corner Brook Port Corporation. Hello, Patty.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me here today and for being live down from the port.
Well, thank you for welcoming us to the port. How busy a cruise season are you having this year at the port of Corner Brook?
Oh, it's been a great cruise season to date. We actually had our first winter cruise back in March, and now this is our fourth call of what we'll call a regular season for summer, and this is our third time having the pleasure of welcoming the Volendam back.
And how many vessels total either have visited or will visit over the course of the season?
So between March and the third week in October, we're expecting 24 vessels on schedule this year.
Okay, and how does that compare to other years?
I think it's still pretty good for us. Last year we did have 36 calls, but It was due to a lot of other things happening in our region. We've been steady at low 20s, mid 20s for years prior to that. So we're still excited with these numbers and looking forward to hopefully continuing to grow in the years to come.
Where would you like to see these numbers?
You're asking the cruise marketing coordinator for this. I would love to see them 100.
The cruise ship that's visiting today, as you said, has been here before. What does it say to you when a cruise line is willing to have a vessel come in again and again and again?
It means a lot to us. So one thing that we often look at is the number of inaugural calls. And when those ships come here for the first time and then they continue to book years out, it means that there's a demand for us and they were pleased and satisfied with their visit. So to be honest, the Volendam is actually on our books for the next 3 years, and cruise ships only book around 3 years out. So we're thrilled to know that they're satisfied and will continue to be.
Now, we said you're the cruise marketing coordinator. From what I've seen in dealing with you to line up this show, you seem to coordinate a lot more than just marketing. So how would you describe the work that you do? And it is not just in the summer cruise season, but it's year round.
I remember having this conversation with you, and it was really hard to put together what I do. So I am year-round, which a lot of people don't know, because we're working year-round to be able to bring crews to Corner Brook. So we do a lot of traveling, myself and our team, to say we'll go to Florida. We've been to Seattle, meeting with our cruise line executives to pitch Corner Brook as a top destination for them. And then during the season, of course, coordinating everything that happens down here on the dock, trying to get more involved in the community and be able to get the community to come to us more often. So there's a lot of exciting things on the horizon, and I'm glad that it's a part of my job.
People can hear in the background, of course, there is a vessel that's docked up right at the dock here today, and that is an MSC vessel, because this is an industrial port as well as being one that accommodates cruise ships. Just what's involved in being ready to greet a cruise ship like you are today?
Oh, there's a lot involved, but it's from all of our different partners in the city, so we can do it in silo, and I'm grateful to have the stakeholders that we do. So whether it's our bus operators, our vendors, our information officers, musicians, and everybody else that we have pierside, but then we also have 3 wonderful shore excursion operators, so Wildland Tours, Ambassador Grey Line, and Maritime Travel, who they are responsible for ultimately ensuring that people who go out on tour have a great experience. And then when they get up downtown, which you'll speak with Glenda later, she'll be able to give you a glimpse on that. So there's a lot of people that come together to make this happen, and we have the best welcome program in my mind.
And that's Glenda Sims of the City of Corner Brook, and we will hear from her a little bit later in the show. And so, Patty, I want to ask you, though, it seems like a well-oiled machine, really. I mean, just the way everything is going in terms of getting people on their way. There's no delay. You want to get people on those buses to Grossmore National Park so that they can have the maximum time enjoying the great outdoors here in this province. So what does it take to make sure all those pieces are in place when they need to be and where they need to be?
That's definitely a priority for us. Of course, you did say where we are an industrial port, that we want people out enjoying our city and eating at our local restaurants, shopping from our local vendors. So our ShoreX team works alongside the crew on board the ship very closely and ensures that everything goes out on time, and then we have our buses bringing people into the city center. So we're all about getting people out and about.
And what is the case that you make when you go to these marketing events you mentioned? How do you sell Corner Brook as a cruise port? How do you say, you guys really need to come here?
I think similar to a lot of other ports in Atlantic Canada, we really lead with our people. It's our people that make this place special. We can't compete with a lot of destinations on history and culture and whatnot, but we do have the people, the kindness, the genuine hospitality, the willingness to invite, and you may even have a Tetley tea and a tea bun in somebody's house while you're here, which may seem strange to some, but we love to promote it as something special, as well as adventure tourism is what we're really leaning into here on the West Coast. Is, oh my God, there's so much opportunity. So that's 2 of our leading points.
I want to ask you, we mentioned that this is an industrial port. You can hear the heavy equipment operating right here behind us now. What are some of the challenges of trying to balance, being a cruise port, being a really viable destination for cruise ships, but also obviously the necessity that one of your major clients is here for a different reason entirely, bringing in cargo ships on a regular basis year-round?
Of course, so as you kind of alluded to, MSC does have priority berthing here, but we're working closely with both MSC and our cruise line clients to be able to find out a way to better coexist into the future. So that started with the introduction of our tender dock facility to be able to allow crews to go to anchor, but then we're in the process of also looking at a feasibility study, and if there's the potential in the future to have a secondary berth to be able to better cater to both of our customers.
You mean that really leads into my next question. Just, what are some of the improvements that you're hoping to see with the Port Corporation in the years to come that would even better accommodate cruise ships?
Oh, that would be my first one, of course. Would be a secondary berth. We're also working alongside the City of Corner Brook to improve accessible transportation. We did launch another new tour today as well, a new walking tour to be able to get more people out in our city. We're constantly doing improvements here on our dock. I would love to see it continue to grow, and excited the direction that it's going.
Wonderful. Patty, thanks so much for having us today, and thanks for being with us on the air.
Thank you so much.
That is Patty Ricketts. She is the Cruise Marketing Coordinator with the Corner Brook Port Corporation. You are listening to The Signal on CBC Radio, and we are broadcasting live from the port in Corner Brook. We're going to turn our attention now to a very special guest who spends more of his time probably not on dry land, but on the the seas. We are delighted to have Captain Rens van Eerten with us today. He is the captain of the MS Volendam, the Holland America cruise ship that is here visiting Corner Brook today. Hello, Captain Rens.
Hello, Bernice. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for taking some time to speak with us. First of all, for people who can't see the vessel themselves today, they're listening on the radio. Tell us about the Volendam. Just describe how big this vessel is and what it's like on board.
The Volendam is 26 years old and was built in Italy, Venice. And she's one of our R-class ships. She's one of the smaller ones. She's only 238 meters long. We have at the moment 1,330 guests and about 600 crew. She's a nice size ship because you can go to little different ports where the very large cruise ships can't go anymore. And we are specialized with these ships in longer itineraries. Just done a pole to pole.
Really?
Which we went first to Antarctica, sailed all the way around, went to the Arctic, and that cruise took 133 days. It was amazing.
Incredible. What about this particular itinerary?
This one, we call it, what we're doing now is a legendary cruise. So we started in Boston, come here along the coast, and then make our way to Iceland, go around Iceland, back to Greenland, go into the ice, and from there make our way south again back to Boston. And that is 26 days.
What makes Corner Brook a worthwhile stop, in your view?
The thing that what is nice is the people here like to see cruise ships. People are very nice and friendly. They invite us, and that is the most wonderful thing. It's sadly you have ports in the US, for example, Bar Harbor. The locals are resistant against cruise ships, and the sad thing is, majority are Americans. We're showing their own country, and the locals don't want us to come there. And I strongly believe traveling and showing people the world makes the world a much better place. And that's what we do.
What do you hear from cruise passengers and from some of your crew when they've been ashore in ports in Newfoundland? What do they say to you?
People are so friendly. They invite you, and the whole thing is, we had one crew member, he went to Tim Horton and he didn't have enough change, and somebody said next to him, "Here you go, there's $1. Thank you very much." You don't see that anywhere. And that's nice how people are.
Amazing. What's it like to be a cruise ship captain?
Basically, I'm always surprised I get paid.
Wow.
Because I enjoy my job. But no, it is a way of life. Because I spent 3 months on board, 3 months off.
Right.
And I've always wanted to see the world and get paid and do it as well. I started out on cargo ships, and there you're most of the time away from the areas where something happens, because that's where the docks are. And on a cruise ship, you come to the most wonderful places. And I'm now 61 years old. I've been doing it for 45 years, and I'll just say, to the love of my life is if I don't enjoy it anymore, I stop. But I'm still enjoying it.
Do you get a chance to go ashore and see any of these places?
Sometimes I do, sometimes you don't. It is depending. For example, now we are at anchor, so I've always one eye on the weather, because I'm still responsible.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point is, you are responsible 24 hours a day, 3 months in a row.
Well, I appreciate that you were able to get ashore and speak to us today. What would you say is the most challenging part of your job?
The challenging part can be your guests, because the whole thing is, we want to make sure that they have the most wonderful time.
Yeah, I mean, what are some of the obstacles to that at times?
Obstacles, for example, was like yesterday, you get a call from the agent, "Look, sorry, we can't get you alongside." Okay, need to change the program, get everything, all the tenders ready, get everything ready, so make sure that they still can go ashore. But we do that together, and it is the most important thing. It's teamwork. We do it together, and together we can do it.
How does that complicate the process? Because anyone who hasn't cruised perhaps doesn't really understand the process here. So you've been coming ashore, and your passengers and crew have been coming ashore in smaller boats because you weren't able to dock right alongside.
So basically we can put 60 to 70 people in one tender, and you can make easy the calculation. You have 1,300 people who want to go ashore, 70 each tender, so you've got quite a few tender rides up and down.
You've been in these waters before.
Yes.
Is there a particular part of sailing along the Newfoundland and Labrador coast that you really enjoy?
Yes, it is very nice coming here into the bay. And for me, if you look at it, you can compare it to the fjords in Norway. Yeah. And we have a lot of ships sailing in Alaska as well, so that's always familiar. It's nice things when you come into the bay, you see the houses, and and it is normally I have the best view of the house because I'm on the bridge. You see the sunrise, you see the bay coming in. That's my office.
What more could you ask for?
Exactly.
I'm so pleased that you took some time to speak with us. Thanks so much.
It's an absolute pleasure, and thank you for having us.
That's Captain Rens Vineyard, and he is the captain of the MS Volendam, the Holland America cruise ship that is visiting Corner Brook today. Well, the port of Corner Brook is a very busy place, and of course, whenever cruise ships are in port, there are vendors set up here to sell their products, and some of them reap the rewards in customer loyalty even after the cruise ships have left port. Liz Comden is founder and creator of Sea Salt and Twig, based in Cormac, and she's with us now. Hello, Liz.
Hi, Bernice.
Well, first of all, what is Sea Salt and Twig?
Okay, so Sea Salt and Twig, the brand, the name actually is the elements of Newfoundland and Labrador, sea salt of the ocean that surrounds us, and twig for the land that we live on. And we started creating skincare products, and it just kind of developed into a lifestyle brand and a lot of collaborations with other small businesses, as well as the products that we create and sell.
How long have you been in business?
The brand itself is about 5 years old now, but we've been full-time for the last 4 years.
And how long have you been coming here at the port during cruise ship visits?
So this is our third year for the cruise ship seasons here at the port, and it's been fabulous exposure. It's been a great way to meet customers from around the world, and as you were saying, like, we have some of them, our most loyal customers are people that we've met through the cruise ship seasons.
So just explain, how does that work in terms of repeat customers? They don't come back here to get your product in person.
No, so we have a full website that we ship all over North America and some areas outside of North America. And so we have a massive customer base that is within other parts of Canada, but also in the United States as well, because a lot of our customers on the cruise ships are from the US, and they shop online year-round.
Amazing. Was that anticipated on your part when you first started coming here, or was that really quite a surprise?
It was a bit of unexpected. We do have like the ability to ship and the full website. So when people start asking, it's like, if I buy this, but what if I fall in love with it? How do I get it? And it's like, well, we'll ship it to you. And so we found like that actually helps people want to shop here more, because they know that if they find a product they fall in love with, we can make sure they get it year-round.
Interesting. And what do they say about what draws them to your product? I mean, do they come in and sample it and then decide they just have to have it, or?
It starts as soon as you walk into the shed. It smells beautiful, and it's like the whole smell of just natural products. We use very clean ingredients, essential oil bases for our scent, and you just walk in and it smells inviting, and it smells, clean, and there's a piece of that smells like nature and makes you want to be a part of that. And that's usually where it starts, and then from there a lot of times it's the story that really draws people in. When we start talking about like the origins of Sea Salt and Twig and how it's connected to the land that we come from and the waters that we come from, that people want to take a piece of that with them when they leave.
That is just wonderful. At this point, I mean, obviously you still see it as worthwhile to come back here every year for cruise visits to connect with possibly new longtime customers, but it is an investment of your time. You've come all the way from Cormac today. How do you balance that? Obviously, it's time away from your operation in Cormac, but time well spent here.
Absolutely. It was a learning curve the first year and a bit. And we find like some ships are really busy, others are quieter, and we try to cater to what people are looking for and what people are asking. So one of the things that we do is we have some other local products within the shed to help fill in the gaps. So not everybody wants to buy skincare product, but we have local tea and coffee and jam and honey and just things that bring people in to help balance the customers' buying.
Have you diversified your product line with that in mind, kind of listening to what cruise passengers have said in the past that they would like to see or that they're kind of looking for?
Absolutely, to a point. We try to stay within like things that represent our brand as well as Newfoundland and Labrador, and stay within that, but have things that pair well with the brand, and also make sure that what we carry is not in another vendor shed, so that the customer and each of the vendors are able to have as much success as possible.
Very interesting. I love that you said that about, just not wanting to duplicate what someone else is doing. What does it mean to you as a business owner to see the kind of response that you get here firsthand and then online to products that you've really poured your heart and soul into?
I love it. It's part of my favorite part of being able to do this and being a small business owner and having the ability to be down here on the port when most of the cruise ships are in, that connection, because that's where business starts. It doesn't start with a great product. It starts with the connection that you build with your customer, and to be able to continue that relationship year after year, long after the cruise ships are gone. That's the most important aspect to me as a small business owner.
And I love the fact that you said the stories that you tell, that you share about the products and how they were developed is really what attracts people as well. It draws them in
Absolutely.
to share this piece of our story here in Newfoundland and Labrador that they can then take with them when they go. It's lovely. Liz, thank you so much for joining us today. I'll let you get back to
thank you for having me.
your business. Liz, what's the website for your business for those who are curious?
Sure, seasaltandtwig.com, and we're on social media at Sea Salt and Twig as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
That's Liz Comden. She's the founder and creator of Sea Salt and Twig in Cormac, and she's here on the port today. Now, we've got a guest with us who does some onshore guiding for some of the cruise ship passengers. He's not on duty today, and that's why we were able to snag him to speak with us. Mike Ludy does onshore cruise guiding with Wildland Tours, and hello, Mike.
Hi, Bernice. Nice to see you, and thanks for having me on, and thanks for doing this program today.
Well, I think it's a great opportunity for us to shine a spotlight on the port of Corner Brook, and of course it's for the whole region, because the people I met today who were getting off these tender boats, they were headed to Gross Mourne. So you do guiding for Wildland Tours. What do they do for cruise visitors, and what's your role in all of that?
So when ships arrive, of course, many of the passengers will have already previously booked onshore excursions through Wildlands, and so I'm fortunate to be one of the people who will take those visitors out to different locations throughout the region.
And how did you get involved with this?
Well, after I retired, I was sort of just looking for some things to do, so I hooked on with one of the previous companies and got a little experience, and so then I approached Wildlands and was fortunate enough to be brought in as a guide, and I really enjoy it. I must say it's tremendous, and it's just so happy. I'm so happy to be able to share, our history, culture, our music, and everything else that's West Coast to the visitors who come here.
What did you have to do to prepare to be ready for that role? Because it's one thing to live here and to feel like we have a knowledge and awareness about the history and culture of this place, but it's a whole other thing to then try to communicate it to people who are asking questions.
I agree. Well, I was fortunate in that, my background, I was a history major, in university, and I've always had, a pure love for history, and especially anything Newfoundland and Labrador, and then more particularly on the West Coast. So, I think, personal characteristics, you have to be very sort of outgoing, be able to communicate, to your visitors, and have, a good base knowledge of the history of the region. And I really worked on that. Throughout the winter, I read a lot of material, and, I got copious notes and books of handwritten notes that I review before the season begins. And it's really, I feel blessed to be able to share that with those who come. And they're always impressed, with not just the geography, but also, our story, our culture, and our history. And I try to weave things into a story sort of format.
Right.
Because I think it's more important, and I think people remember that more than a bunch of facts, which, you have to be, cognizant of that as well.
Of course. What are some of the common questions that you get from people who are visiting off of the cruise ships?
Oh, yeah. So they're always interested, in the weather, how much snow we get, what the seasons are like, what people do, as far as their work life goes.
Right.
And, it's funny because they always are interested in the real estate value of homes as well.
Really?
Oh, yes. I usually get that as a question. And, they want to know things that they know a little bit about, what's the Titanic close to here? And those who come from Europe or Australia are always intrigued by Captain Cook.
Right.
And of course they bring knowledge with them, so you got to be really careful on that. You have to know your information on that. But
yes.
Basically, those types of questions they're really interested in.
What do they seem to enjoy the most?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What do they seem to enjoy the most?
Oh, they particularly love the geography, and they're just amazed. I always, when we travel down to Lark Harbour, because that's one of our tours,
right.
The Trail of Captain James Cook. When we crest a hill into Frenchman's Cove, I always wait for the reaction.
Right.
Because there's always like a ooh and an ah there, especially when they see the harbour and the wee ball there in the distance.
I was going to say, wee ball in the distance.
They're just blown away by that. Same thing is true of Bottle Cove. They just love Bottle Cove. And they also, Grossmorn is a major thrill for many who come here. So, they love the music. I'm fortunate I can play a little bit of guitar. So
lovely.
I usually, bring a few songs that I'll sing for them somewhere along the way. And that seems to make them very happy as well.
Are they interested in trying local food and maybe buying some locally handcrafted items?
Yes, they are. And when we go to Lark Harbour, one of our stops is the St. James Church in Lark Harbour. And the women, or I shouldn't say the women, but the local church league there provide coffee and refreshments, and they're always interested in the Newfoundland jams, whether it's bake apple or partridge berry or blueberry. I encourage them to sample those things, and also the opportunity to buy bottled things there. So I really promote that as well.
All right. Well, Mike, thanks so much for taking some time to speak with me today. This is just wonderful.
Okay, Bernice, I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
That's Mike Ludy. He does onshore cruise guiding with Wildland Tours. Glenda Sims is supervisor of tourism with the city of Corner Brook, and she is with us now. Hello, Glenda.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Your role in tourism is obviously not just catering to cruise visitors, much broader than that, but what is your role when it comes to ensuring that the people who get off cruise ships here have a good experience?
Well, my role, I think, was kind of to make sure that when they hit the downtown core, that we have a welcoming program that gives them a great impression of our locals, a great impression of our city, and a lasting impression that makes them want to come back.
So what kinds of things do you offer? Because I know you have, for example, a shuttle service.
Yes, so the shuttle service is actually operated by the port. It stops into our downtown core right directly across from the City Hall. When they get off of the shuttle, there's the crosswalk, of course, and they come over into the city square, and right there we have our visitor information program with our ambassadors, which are all volunteer. They are able to direct people to the Cornerbrook Stream Trail, to some of our other assets in the downtown, like our Cornerbrook sign, which tells great stories about our area, as well as the Mill Whistler Road train. And right there in the square is also 20 vendors can fit in this space, and then our overflow is at the Majestic Lawn, where we also have a vendor program which has grown immensely since we started developing this in 2019.
What do cruise ship visits mean to this city and to this region?
A lot. Economic growth, employment opportunities, local business owners able to promote their products, a opportunity for us to showcase and share our culture, our history, our music abilities. There's just so much opportunity for cruise ship guests to come into our downtown or come into our region in general and be able to experience what it is we as a people offer. So making sure that our community love where they live and are able to share and showcase that is essential. The amount of economic, the amount of revenue that the cruise industry brings ranges from, I think, $65 to $75 per visitor for our downtown operation, our downtown businesses. So that's their spend.
There is a misconception, I think, about cruise ship visits and the fact that, you know, these people come, they've already spent their money, they're not coming into port to spend.
Definitely not. Yeah, there is a misconception in that. I do get that question quite a bit. Even from my previous employment of working on board cruise ships, I have had this question a lot. It's not. It's the amount of revenue is actually substantial, and you can get some reports online, or the port can share, or our information, online information platforms can also provide those numbers. But in general, I would say 65 to 75, and surprisingly, that's per passenger. So you see crew members coming off, stocking up on things. You see on sundries and toiletries and all that jazz. But you also see people trying our local food, our local restaurants, buying souvenirs. The amount of growth within just our vendor program alone gives you those stats alone.
Right.
If you weren't even to look at the businesses, the coffee shops, the museum, the train program, all of this is revenue based. Then just the vendors alone is an opportunity where you can see the actual expenditures that's happening. They do spend money.
well, that's good to set the record straight.
They do spend money
on that. You mentioned the trail system, which I find really interesting. Lots of times these cruise ship passengers could be from larger centers. They may not think that walking along some remote trail system is going to be a safe place to spend their day. But what appeals to them about maybe walking the Corner Brook Stream Trail?
I think this is one of, I've been to 100 countries, hundreds and hundreds of ports, and I will tell you that when you come into a downtown, no matter how small or large a city is, when you have a pond with a garden view and a opportunity to do this walking trail in the middle of a city,
right.
It is a unique experience on its own. So what we try to do is ensure that passengers, visitors of any kind, come down to the downtown, and our ambassador program, as well as any volunteers or any locals, encourage people to take that opportunity, because it is a safe trail system, and it is I think they get that feel naturally.
Right.
So as you come into the city, you come to the port, you have volunteers here welcoming your cruise guests. They get on the shuttle, the bus drivers are friendly, they get off in the downtown core, there's friendly people greeting them all over the place, and then directing them to the trail system. I think they kind of feel that connection that they have on board the ship flow through the downtown and flow through the port that they're visiting. If the port volunteers, the city volunteers, the locals give them that sense of warmth and welcoming, they're not going to question the level of safety, because it just feels natural. It feels like you're home.
Glenda, I need to highlight the fact that you worked in the cruise industry. So you come at this from a very different perspective than someone who's not only maybe never cruised, but never really known the inside of the cruise business. So, are there things that you think the city could do to improve or change in terms of the product it offers to cruise visitors?
I think we're in the right direction for the size that we are. I think that there's been so much growth. I know that since the mayor and this council has encouraged the tourism department to be developed, that we have been given prime opportunity to work with the local businesses, the local port, taking me and letting me go to some of the sea trade shows and different things like this,
right.
to ensure that we're able to promote to cruise executives, promote to cruise passengers, and just identify what it is we have to offer. Spreading the word, getting it out there is what's important. When the passengers are on board the ship, ensuring that they have the information that they need, the port lecturers have the information they need, the destination experts have it, all that jazz, making sure that passengers are aware that this is a welcoming, warm environment. Then when they're on board, that's what they're getting. We weren't allowed to walk past a visitor. If I was working on board ships, I would never walk past a guest without greeting them. And I think that in some ways that's a natural Newfoundland way. So when I came off of ships, I'd be walking through the mall or walking through a local business. Good day, good day, good day, because that's what was instilled in us.
Right.
But I think it was a natural part of me as a Newfoundlander. So when I got on board ships, I felt it was just a natural flow. Passengers on board are treated so well, and making sure that when they come into our downtown that they're greeted and welcomed, they stay within that cruise mindset that they're traveling with.
Right.
Putting a greeter at the door of a coffee shop will enhance your the appeal immensely. There's so many opportunities for so many things for local businesses to do that are seem so small,
right,
but are going to be such an impact.
Well, Glenda, we've got someone who also helps to roll out the welcome mat with us now, but thank you for taking some time to be with us.
No problem at all. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure, as usual.
Glenda Sims, Supervisor of Tourism with the City of Corner Brook. And as Glenda said, there are many people who are involved in welcoming cruise passengers when they arrive in Corner Brook, and their roles are all important. Judy Parsons is one of those people. She is a retired teacher who works as a cruise information officer, and she has been doing that, she tells me, for more than a decade. That's the number she put on it. Hello, Judy.
Hello, Bernice. Thank you.
How did you get involved with this?
A friend of mine actually mentioned it to me that they had been they're no longer with us as cruise information officers, but they were at that time, and asked if it would be something that I would be interested in. And being retired and, missing being with adults on a regular basis, it was a wonderful opportunity to, not only meet adults for the most part, but to again work in an adult environment, so to speak. So.
And what is your role? How would you describe it?
My role as a cruise information officer is just as that is, it's information. People come off the cruise ships and, they're looking, if they already have a tour booked from the cruise, then it's more a director kind of thing and directing them to where they need to pick up their tour. But for those who don't have something booked, it's to give them information of what they could possibly do for the day. There was a point before COVID when we used to go on the cruise ship as well. There would be two of us who would go on the cruise ships to do that kind of information, but unfortunately that was kind of put to bed, so to speak, once COVID came into being. And I feel it's a little unfortunate, really, because there are some people who don't get off the ship who are interested in talking to local people and finding out information about the local area. And while I know that the cruise ship has people on board who do that kind of thing, it's never the same as when you hear it from a local person. And I've been here my whole life.
And what are some common questions that you get from visitors?
Well, they, if I can only do one thing today, what am I going to do kind of thing, and what do you think is important for me to see in your city? Some people will ask about local breweries type thing. They're interested in that sort of thing. And a lot of people ask, what's that building behind you? Which is our paper mill, of course.
Oh, of course.
And ask some questions about that. And just general questions about the size of the city. And particularly do we get much snow?
You do get that question.
Oh, yes, all the time.
So I have to ask you, Judy, are you honest with them?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I tell them we get 10 or more feet every year, but, by the same token, we don't get brutally cold temperatures, at least not for long periods of time.
Right.
And if you enjoy winter activities, then this is the place to be.
You were telling me that some people make a stop at the Royal Canadian Legion, Branch 13, and they offer a special service that people really appreciate.
Yes, they offer... I'm gone blank, Bernice.
You were telling me that they could be screeched in.
Yes, they offer the screech in, that's right. And they have a time, most cruise ship days, they do offer that service. And they have a time when people can register, and I think the cost this year is $20. But if you don't want to participate in the ceremony, then you can go there to watch it. And a lot of people come back and they're waving their certificates that they're honorary Newfoundlanders, so they're very happy with that service.
Oh,
yeah.
I love that. And I mean, as you mentioned, people do take excursions, and some people don't. Can they still have a really good experience even if they don't have something booked?
Oh, I think so. I mean, if they take the free shuttle service, which our city offers, and, one of the things about the free shuttle is that it hasn't been wheelchair accessible, unfortunately, but now our city has just procured a new wheelchair accessible vehicle, and they're going to give us some access to that, so that'll be a wonderful addition. But I just just tell them to go in and to especially meet the local people. Like, I find that our people in Corner Brook are very well aware of when the cruise ship days are.
Yes.
And they're out and about. And I mean, they're there to talk to the cruisers. There's no doubt about it. And I tell them our biggest resource are the people. So get out and talk to the people. I remind them to go to the rooftop garden. You know, if they don't go on big excursions, then at least the rooftop garden on top of City Hall, they get to have a quick look at the city. And especially if they're not able to get up to Captain Cook, you know, to see from that perspective. And also, you know, just to generally walk in through town and, you know, the local businesses that are in that area. Our Mill Whistler train, of course, is there for them. And, you know, our Corner Brook sign that's just in at the end of West Street to get some Photoshop done and so on. So, yeah.
Judy, I know you're a proud Newfoundlander and Labradorian, and this must make you even more proud to be able to show off your province.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. There's no better place in the world to live than where Corner Brook is.
Judy, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
That is Judy Parsons. She works as a cruise information officer in Corner Brook when cruise ships are important. She mentioned there the shuttle service being offered by the port this year or in the last number of years to bring people to where they need to be. Of course, even before a cruise ship gets in sight of the port of Corner Brook, there is one person who gives that first warm welcome to the crew of the vessel. Captain Glenn Hoff also has a very serious job to do. Captain Glenn Hoff is a marine pilot with the Atlantic Pilotage Authority. Hello, Captain Hoff.
Good day, Bernice. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. You have had a very busy day.
It started early this morning, and it's not over. It's just a little break in between here now, and there's a few movements left to do yet throughout the day.
We were thinking we might have you earlier in the show, given the fact that you're the one who ushers this vessel into port, but you have been so busy. What is your role in getting these large cruise ships, and of course the cargo vessels as well, safely into the port of Corner Brook?
Okay, so a marine pilot, it's covered under the Atlantic Pilotage Authority as my employer, which is a Crown corporation established in 1972. And there's been pilots like for years and years, even predated that. But we go aboard as mandated by the Government of Canada, Transport Canada, under the Canada Shipping Act. And the Pilotage Act, and it instills safety for mariners entering our coastal ports and waters, and especially when we have foreign ships carrying dangerous cargoes, weather conditions that you may need to do an anchorage, or whether or not it's safe to berth at a certain time because of the weather conditions, which are very adverse here in the Bay of Islands because of the mountainous ranges and whatnot.
Right.
So we all ships over 1,500 gross tons require a pilot, Canadian or foreign, and they order their pilot through our office in 12 hours notice. They give us 12 hours notice, and we travel, like I also a pilot in Lewisport and Botwood, Stephenville here on the west coast, and as well as the Bay of Islands. So we travel quite a bit on the road. We have a large geographical area to cover, and this summer season it's been extremely busy. Ships every day, pretty much in every port. So it's a small group of us. There's only 3 of us here in our district, and it keeps us hopping.
You were telling me you take the tides, the winds into account in guiding the wheel person in terms of bringing their vessel in.
Yes, so we go aboard the ship. We introduce myself to the captain, who you already interviewed there, and we go through what we call a master pilot exchange. We talk about the condition of the ship, mechanical aspects, everything is working, introduce ourselves then to the officers of the deck, the bridge team, the wheelsmen, so we all work together and safely bring the ship into harbor, and use tugs if required and if available to assist us in safely getting to the berth. So that's all discussions that we make when we get aboard. Ship is still moving, and we basically have our toolbox meeting on the bridge in transit and decide what's safe, what's not safe, what's the best option, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a busy time for a short period of time.
Captain Hoff, thank you for joining us. I know it's super busy for you, and I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you very much.
That is Captain Glenn Hoff. He is a marine pilot with the Atlantic Pilotage Authority, and we have a guest who has kindly agreed to join us. He is a passenger on board the Volendam. James James Cunningham is from Ireland, lives in Florida right now, and he and his wife are on board the Volendam, but they're here in Corner Brook today. Hello, James.
Hi, Bernice. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
How are you enjoying your cruise so far?
Absolutely spectacular. I'm a little surprised because I thought it would be a little more chilly than it is, and absolutely it is unbelievably warm, and I'm very happy about that, because we're going to end up in Iceland, and I know that place is going to be cold. Very friendly people up here, very friendly. It was not what I expected. I thought everybody'd be cold and wrapped up and keeping to themselves, but everywhere we went, we were greeted with great hospitality. So yeah.
I know your vessel's in port. The Volendam is here till 6 o'clock. What are you planning to do today?
Well, I'm going to go back and I'm going to take a nice hot shower, and then I'm going to have a game of cards with some people I've met over there. And then tonight we'll take a show in. Then we'll go dancing, and then if my wife allows me, I'll end up in the casino.
Well, the cruise life suits you, James. And
oh man, I've been cruising for 40 years, and it's been absolutely. I've been all over the world. This is the last outpost that we're going, Greenland. We've never been, and so Newfoundland, Canada. It's just, I'm living the dream. That's all I can say.
James, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Denise.
That's James Cunningham, and he is from Ireland but lives in Florida. And we're getting ready to wrap up our program here today. We've been broadcasting live from the port of Corner Brook, where a large cruise ship, the Volendam, is visiting the region. And we have a song for you now as we get ready to wrap up the program, written and recorded by a Corner Brook musician who worked for a time aboard the Norwegian Jade cruise ship. The late Dave McHugh wrote this song as a tribute to the people he worked with. McHugh said that a common greeting from his Portuguese-speaking friends on the Norwegian Jade was "Todo bem," which means all good. So here to close out our show today, Dave McHugh with "Todo bem."
Whoa!